I think our culture has gotten really negative towards men these days. I think it's time we take back our masculinity. I think today's message in the media really has gotten completely away from celebrating men today, and instead it's almost like I don't want to say that we're villains or anything like that, but it definitely seems like we're bashed we're bashed a decent amount in today's culture. And I've always I've always believed in women. I've never had anything against women, but this whole feminism thing has gotten a little bit crazy. That's an understatement. That's an understatement. Women have basically been elevated to basically special needs, to a special needs interest group. Have you noticed that? It seems like all of this equal rights stuff has gone way overboard. Way overboard. And it just seems like it's not even about equal rights anymore. And the thing is anybody who believes that men and women are the same, like I believe that there are certain people that believe that the main differences in men versus women are socially constructed. I don't know who in the world could possibly believe that. I mean, men and women are genetically built different. I've always believed though that men and women, listen, without either one, you wouldn't be able to create life. So I do think it's a little silly when I hear people say, "Oh, men are better than women or women are better than men." It's like the last time I knew, it took it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. But I think in today's culture, we got to start at some point. Men are going to start to push back on this stuff. In today's culture, our culture, listen, I believe America is the best place to live. Without a doubt, I think America is the best place to live. But I don't think American culture is always the best, especially for men. I mean, and women, really. I think the instant gratification of our culture completely has the potential to set you up for failure. I mean, if you think about it, fast food, pornography, you know, Facebook, all of these things which take no discipline and no obedience whatsoever. And I really think that those are traps. That if you can find a way to get out of those traps, for example, one of the things that I've been doing is when I wake up in the morning and I'm pretty blasted with my knee injury, I'll get a cup of green tea, and it's nice and hot, and I just I put it against my hand. I put it up against my arm. I don't even, I won't let myself turn on my television. And I look around my apartment and I think about what I'm grateful for. I think of all of the things that I'm grateful to God for. I'm grateful. One of the main things I'm grateful for is that I can still walk after having a head-on car collision when I was 23 years old. I could easily be in a wheelchair today. And so sometimes in the morning I wake up, and even though my leg is pretty much toast, I wake up and I put that tea against my hand, against my arm. And it makes me feel alive right there in the moment. Right there in the moment. I just feel like I'm not waiting. I'm not trying to get to 10 minutes from now to when I check Facebook or I check text messages. I don't even turn my phone on in the morning. A lot of times what I used to do is I wouldn't turn my cell phone on for like half of the day. And it was great because it would just limit my distraction. I stayed so much more focused. And so I have the tea against my arm. I look up. I check my I always look up at my bass, because that bass, I really do believe that God knew that I was going to buy. I think that God knew that I was going to buy that bass, because the week before I went back to the gym, and going back to the gym was an absolute, it was an absolute bitch for me. My nerves were just all over the place because I hadn't been in 6 months, and my foot was shaky, my leg was shaky, my anxiety was just like, it was rugged. And I bought that bass from an eBay seller that was giving me a difficult time. They didn't want to sell it to me, and it triggered a bunch of anxiety because I had this doctor's appointment that was going to be really hard for me to pull out. It was over the phone, but it was still going to be hard for me to pull out. And I remember when the seller said, "Oh, please don't buy it," and I was just thinking, wow, you're just so rude, you're just so mean spirited. And later on, I had to create a different eBay account just to get it, because I knew they wouldn't sell it to me with my other one. But anyway, I don't want to get into that now, but it's like I look up there and it's like I see that bass, and like that bass is going to signal my return to fishing when I get a prosthetic leg. And I'm just so thankful that I have the ability to still be able to walk. I could be sitting in I could be a vegetable today. So that's one thing. That's one thing I think about. But I definitely encourage you to really try to get away from your cell phone. Give it a shot where you just, turn it off, and you can actually be so much more present and in the moment and alive. I promise you, because it feels like, I think what happens is every time that you plug into electronic devices, it's almost like you're plugging out of connecting with yourself. And so it's like when you can get away from that, it's like you can just center yourself. It seems like too. I think today I've ran into a little bit of trouble, because I think it's like I think I've watched a little bit too much TV today, so it's like. But anyway, I was pushing too hard last night on my YouTube channel. I I get so motivated because it's something I'm really passionate about, and I'm trying to figure out which YouTube uh, thumbnails will generate the most views with regards to my warnings about pornography. And the thing is I just think it's just kind of gotten into my head a little bit too much, where I'm just it's a lot to think about all the time. Like I don't want to be thinking about porn all the time. But I'm passionate because it's like I want to help. I want to help share with other men. And the truth is like that's what has gotten me a lot of views on YouTube is my warnings about pornography. So as a marketing major, that's one of the things that, when something is working, it's like then you hammer that out, but I just think I've just put a little bit too much into it. But yeah, but I guarantee you, if you can get away from, get away from Facebook, get away from your cell phone, get away from television, you'll feel more present, and you'll feel, you start to think about the things that you're grateful for. I think that can really help you. All right, thanks. Subscribe to my channel. That would mean everything to me. I only have 11 subscribers, but I know at some point I'm not really worried about subscribers because I know if I put out good content and I really focus on what I'm doing, like I'm really not worried about that. Thanks.